that the massacre might never have happened had Broward had better leadership in the sheriff's department.
Strong words about the response following the Parkland shooting that claimed 17 lives at Marjory Stoneman Douglas February 14th of last year, as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis today, within the last hour and a half, suspends Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel.
Saying basically it was his leadership or failure of his leadership that led to this massacre. And we heard from many of the parents, too, of the young victims who spoke out today, in addition to hearing the governor and his suspension announcement. Those parents saying that, specifically Jamie Gutenberg's dad, saying if she would have had one more second, she could have gotten to a stairwell and lived, and blamed that on the response from BSO. A
controversy after heartbreak, a controversy a year in the making. And for more on all of what happened both at that news conference and later with now former Sheriff Scott Israel, who plans to fight, Matt Cesney on scene for us. We're going to go to that story in just a moment. He'll be live for us in Broward County, looking on at what has happened there. And in fact, Matt putting all these late-breaking elements together, and he has that for us right now.
I have issued an executive order suspending Scott Israel as the sheriff of Broward County.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis stood along with the Parkland parents who expressed their pleasure that the Broward sheriff was out. Blamed for what they and the governor contend was inadequate response to the shooting last February at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School.
We've been waiting 9 months for this day.
Parkland parent Andrew Pollack was among Sheriff Israel's most vocal critics in the aftermath of the shooting. A state report also revealing failings in response times by deputies due to a lack of training and preparation. Accusations that landed squarely with the sheriff.
Those of you that know me, that word accountability haunts me day in and day out. Accountability.
And I have no interest in dancing on Scott Israel's political grave. Just suffice it to say that the massacre might never have happened had Broward had better leadership in the sheriff's department.
All right, those are part of the strong words from Governor Ron DeSantis today. And almost immediately after that news conference here at the Broward Sheriff's Office, ousted Sheriff Scott Israel held his own news conference nearby, and this is what he had to say.
Reject the statements in the governor's executive order as lacking both legal merit and a valid factual basis. There was no wrongdoing on my part. The governor promised as a candidate, well before he had any facts of the investigation, well before the commission even began their work, that he would remove me from office. Today, he merely fulfilled a campaign promise. This was about politics, not about Parkland.
All right, those are the words of ousted Broward Sheriff Scott Israel. Governor DeSantis also indicated he would be receptive to listening to some of these Parkland parents about possibly trying to oust the Broward school superintendent as well, but he's not sure if he legally will be able to do that. DeSantis also named Greg Toney as the new Broward sheriff, pointing out that he is now the first African-American to hold that post here in Broward County. We're live in Fort Lauderdale. Matt Cesney, WPTV, News Channel 5.